Thank you. Okay, then. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the Town of Bay Harbor Islands Special Council meeting. Today is July 8th. It's around 7:03. And first item of business is please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I know this isn't on the agenda, you know, like additions and things like that, but I just wanted to mention that.
Can we do the roll?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. I'm
Just do
sorry.
the
Go
roll,
ahead.
and
I forgot
right
about
after the
that.
roll
Okay,
call,
right,
you're on.
okay.
Alrighty, Mayor Salver.
Here.
Vice Mayor Bruder is absent. Councilmember Yaffe.
Here.
Councilmember Rappaport. Councilmember D'Amico.
Here.
Councilmember Fuller.
Here.
Councilmember Diallo.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum to proceed.
Thank you.
So I wanted to have a discussion at the August meeting about uses in the business district. I was contacted by somebody who was interested in doing some kind of beauty lab or something, wellness spa on Kane Concourse. Some of you may have been contacted as well, and I sent information to the manager. I don't know whether it's something we want, don't want, but you know, I guess the complication there is that there would be some medical supervision of certain procedures. So, you know, because a doctor might be in and out of there, that, you know, you run into the issue of whether it's a medical office or not. So anyways, there's some information here that was sent to me. I also gave it to the manager, so if anybody's interested in looking at it, that's fine. But, you know, I mentioned to these people that I would just bring it up, so.
Okay, thank you.
Actually,
Was it on the first floor or the second floor?
no, first floor.
Okay.
Mayor.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, speaking on the same thing, I had made a request, you may have gotten calls, I'm sure, from the manager and from the clerk as well. The August 13th meeting, I had made known a while back that I'm not going to be able to attend on the 13th. And we have a history of making sure we try and coordinate to make sure all of us can be here. I know that at one point, before actually I had made it known, we had been notified that the mayor had requested that the date be moved because Council Member Rappaport was not going to be available on that date. Then suddenly he was available, and suddenly the mayor decided not to try and reschedule it when I had the 13th not available. I would ask for the same courtesy so that we can make sure we're all there on the same days. Not by choice, because I do not miss meetings, but I have a reason that I have to simply have to be somewhere else on that evening. Not to mention the fact that if any of you are going to the League of Cities meeting, the ethics portion starts, I think, at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. the next morning, which means nobody would be able to go for the ethics training. So I would ask that we move it to the 11th if that works for everybody else.
It's funny, when I first got on the council in 1999, Tom Glick was the mayor. And Tom Glick said to me, you don't have to go to every single meeting. So, have we published the August 13th as the meeting date?
We did not. It's not published yet. What's typical is every second Wednesday is when we typically have a meeting, but it has not been published.
I know that for sure.
Or is it published on the website?
Well, I know that I think we approved on an agenda item all the meeting dates, which is public record.
Yeah.
But we do change them from time to time during the course of a year.
We do.
Right.
Yes. Typically, if we don't have a quorum available, we'll change it. But for one person, is it just one person? Can everyone else make it on the 13th, which is the published date?
I can make it on the 13th, and I had said I can make it any time beforehand. Because after I come back from the League of Cities, I've got a really narrow, it's very tight, so I can't promise anything. So the 11th is fine with me.
I can do it on the 11th
yeah.
as well. But.
I can do the 11th. I can do the 13th. We start school on the 14th, so the 13th is a little difficult for that reason. I think because we're asking staff to be here early on the morning that school starts. But I know that we also had the established date of the 13th, and I I'll do whatever is best for everybody. But I would like to ask our manager if moving forward, I've spoken to him and to all of you, just that we look at that date, that's the start of school, so we're not going until 11 p.m. and having everybody here when we're expecting that everybody is there by 6:37 to help with traffic and everything else on the first day of school.
And the public, the general public, it's difficult for them to be here the night before school starts. But, you know, on that same thing, Mayor, one of the things, like I said, is I understand you're saying it's just for one person, but historically we have shifted that. But I have to admit, and I'm a little distressed by the fact that the initial inquiry was that Councilmember Rappaport wasn't going to be here, and the inquiry was from you specifically to move just for him.
I absolutely
That
don't
was what I-
recall doing that. That was on a public meeting?
No, that's what I was informed later on, you know, as far as when the clerk
That
was
will-
calling.
I don't
before-
make,
told that-
I don't wrap my reading, you know, just don't even continue speaking, because I don't wrap my meetings around Ezzy.
Okay, well,
Just-
that being-
just
that
for
being
the
said-
record.
That being said,
Yeah.
if everybody else is available on the 11th, that would be appreciated.
You will take this offline, and we'll poll everybody and see how that goes. Okay, but for now, we'll keep it on the 13th.
The only thing I would say about that, I'm not talking about a specific date, is that I was contacted by Janai, I believe, about moving it to the 6th, and then we were moving it to the 6th, and then it went back to the 13th. And so we were talking, you know, earlier in the month about moving it. That's all I remember, but I don't know whose request or anything like that.
No, I've been called and polled like 3 or 4 times.
All right.
I was gonna say, is Stephanie back in town by then?
Stephanie can make it.
Oh, okay,
No, we don't
So-
know. I don't know when she's going to be here or not.
okay.
Well, Stephanie, yes, Stephanie, that's, you know,
Right.
I think she made it clear to the manager that she's not available for 11th, but she is available for 13th.
Oh,
So,
Okay.
we'll take it offline, we'll see who, you know, majority will rule.
We'll see.
Okay, public comment? Dave Sanchez.
Dave Sanchez, 1094th Street. Hello, and I just want to first start off with the announcement this meeting. It's a bit annoying, pretty much, that the meeting was announced on a Thursday before July 4th, when Town Hall will be closed, when many employees, well, I'm not going to criticize the employees, I don't mean that at all, but many employees are on vacation, and so it's a bit difficult to try to get information pretty much. But that bothers me pretty much, that we have to do these early meetings, special meetings, all of a sudden with very little time to investigate or figure out what's going on, especially in such a topic as hot as this. So that's the main thing. The news waves pretty well. They're pretty well the designs. They sum up the stuff that's going on with the previous meeting, so that's a welcome. But now to the item on the agenda, the main one, number one. It's very surprising, very much, on where this comes from. Looking a bit into the organization, just simply doing a simple search online, and if you look a bit more deeper into business licenses and records, this is a corporation that's been registered here in Bay Harbor at the 1170 offices since 2019. I passed by the place, I surveyed the place, and I've never seen a sign saying there, but you know, there's a lot of businesses that are registered in offices, but they don't have the nameplate on them. But just for how long have this business been trying to set up something here in Bay Harbor? And then looking into the history of it, you realize that this is kind of made by the WeWork people. And this private school is here. It's a bit weird. I know I'm jumping all over the place. I'm sorry. But that's what I'm basically saying. It's just that this organization that's proposing a private school in Bay Harbor Islands in the Church by the Sea is a weird organization that's disappeared, reappeared, and all of a sudden it comes here. They have a special website that says some things. They have some renders. Where these renders are located, I don't know. I hope not in Bay Harbor, because it doesn't seem like there's enough space. So it's all strange, especially with the letter that was sent stating how it isn't exactly of religious education, but it's a bit ambiguous. Now I'm going to say that they aren't, but it's very ambiguous due to them stating about Talmudic teachings, but the letter says something else. It's weird. It's all weird. pretty much. So just the main questions I have is just of, will this organization, if they set up a school year, will they be tax exempt? Is the lease agreement already in effect with the Church by the Sea? What part of the Church by the Sea building is it? Is it the offices at 95th Street, or is it at 1000 King Concourse? And exactly what's this thing that was noted on the agenda of the obstruction to police station? How exactly is it going to obstruct it? Is it based off of parking? Is it based off of just blocking a road? That's right now where the police station is. And the associated traffic plan, is this a new traffic plan that's being
Another 2
proposed?
minutes.
Is this a new traffic plan that's being proposed? Is this a currently existing traffic plan? Is this a proposed future plan that I don't know if the public has been announced about? And so that's kind of the main things I wanted to know about this, since it's pretty new and all of a sudden. But thank you.
Thank you. 1060 Kane Concourse. Let's hear what you have to say, as long as you're not repeating the same thing over and over again. You're more than welcome to speak.
Why don't you come up and
And
start?
start talking.
And if you need additional time, I'm sure the
We'll get-
mayor will take that into consideration, rather
you.
than having a conversation from back there.
I'm going to be different than him. Francis Newhart, 1060 King Concourse. Okay, this is sponsored by the previous town mayor. An alleged cost of plus or minus $1.7 million to pay for design and develop a new entrance for possibly SOLFL, an 80-student, this is what they're requesting, 80-student K-8 religious school, only morning prayer and activities. So it is a religious school. And the police station at 1045 95th Street, and that building, the owner is tax-exempt Church by the Sea, who has an active 2024-25 business tax receipt, which states Florida Statute 205192, religious institution, referring to a tax-exempt Church by the Sea, with having a previous approval by the town mayor and council, and signed and issued by the previous chief building inspector. This is still an active business tax receipt. There is also included in the packet a certificate of occupancy, which I was surprised because it was approved by the town mayor and council, again, tax-exempt Church by the Sea at 1045 95th Street, with using an unknown chief building official stating that the applicant complied with all of the zoning ordinances and all ordinances of building codes for Bay Harbor Islands, including sign ordinance section 17-20T, identification signs, which you just discussed last month, and I had a discussion with that and with the town planner. And under section 17-20U, zoning board modifications such as this may vary. Copies of approval, signed and written reasons for modifications shall be forwarded to the town manager and may appeal the board's decision. I don't understand that, because if I want to appeal it, is that the town manager or is that me? Also, on March 11, 2016, the interim town manager wrote to the town attorney stating the second floor and those businesses are not allowed a primary sign. Therefore, our town attorney, to our town attorney, the consul, Stanley Price, stating, put up the cross on the side of the building and allow, under section 20T, say it was a building identification sign. And then he said, would you speak to Amy? Peron, request of advice. So that identification sign is not an identification sign, because that's on a second floor or higher, according to code. My husband and myself have always tried to support the business district the best we could. Over the years, we have also brought in my Mr. 01, which is doing fabulously on 95th Street, right next to this. Okay, it's okay. Amerint Bank, which is unusual for our town to have another bank, because that's very prestigious, and many others to help in making our building district strive like all the other municipalities in the surrounding areas. Unfortunate, when the town is short of funds and has no funding for the promised new Causeway Island Bridge, a new waterfront park and field for our children, parking, FP&L undergrounding, why is the council favor in accepting a large amount of tax-exempt religious institutions into our small town? This is just one of many. We were surprised that Bay Harbor Islands was subsidizing an alleged millionaire who, through representative, offered a 10-year lease at $100,000 a month for a similar project as the one at 95th Street on the Kane Concourse. Of course, I was going to turn it down. I mean, that's the last thing I'm going to do. And besides the statement, what track record do they have, this organization, SOLFL? Do they operate any other schools? Are they accredited? Are they hiring qualified teachers? How many students will be from Bay Harbor Islands? Molly, you should know all this stuff. This endeavor appears to be only accommodating a small minority, while the council had removed our town's 30-year RKB interlocal agreement of only 1,200 students and is now overcrowded with the rankings of a #1 student removed, with zooming skateboards running down 95th Street. No regulations. And I guarantee you, I'm going to get run over, and it's over the bridge, not on 95th Street. Besides all the construction with no money, what about the congestion on 95th Street, local parking, and the security courts that we're going to attend to? Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Fern.
Thank you.
Ms. Newhook, just so you understand, I just want to make a correction to something. I think you have this backwards, and what I mean by that is I'm not sponsoring this moving forward. You're misreading it. I brought this special meeting because I have concerns about it, and I wanted those addressed prior to them moving forward. So I'm not here trying to give money and actually move it forward. I want those concerns addressed. That's why I called the meeting.
Well, it's very confusing.
Well, I'm
because
just
you
trying to,
state-
so you
Well, then
understand.
you should write it correctly.
I don't write this as a general statement on how it gets done and how we announce it.
Kathleen
Well,
Kennedy?
it's very deceiving, but I still
Okay, it's
believe
not,
that's what's
we're
going
not,
on here.
this is public comment, not a debate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it just says, doesn't say for sponsoring.
My name is Kathleen Kennedy. I'm at 9180 West Bay Harbor Drive. This does not surprise me. It's like deja vu all over again here. I'd like to know who approached who or who approved this monstrous thing about the children. And by the way, I'm a Christian and I love Jews. As everybody knows, and you were there, our citizens ate at the meat bar, so it has nothing to do with religion with me. This is about, has a study been done? Traffic study been done? What about our amazing police department? What happens? Something happens, they have to come out on emergency? Has any of this been taken into consideration? What happens if a hurricane comes and things go flying? What happens? I went to that Dr. Pietro's building one time and asked if they would put our police department in there for a year, get them a lease, and they turned me down. Our police department, and look where they are, all stuck up on top of one another. This is not right. The traffic here, just yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? For 1 hour, the power was out on the bridge. And 1 hour, I was sitting in my car. People had no gas. And we're going to have these beautiful children, 80 children coming to our town. Where are they going to play? Are they using our children's school, our Ruth K. Broad School? Are they using all our, they're coming from all over? We're taxpayers here. I think we have a right to know. Whoever brought this to the table, I want to thank you. Thank you, Josh Fuller, because I didn't know you brought it to the table. But this doesn't, and Molly, I thank you. And probably, I don't know about anybody else. But you know something, this cannot happen. We can't do this. Why doesn't Bal Harbor make a school? Why doesn't Why doesn't Surfside make a school? Why does everybody keep dumping their stuff on us? Okay, I'm calling the media. I'm telling you on this one. I'm telling you, I'm on record. I'm calling the media to investigate what is going on in this town. Unless some of these good council people tell me, Kathleen, don't do it, I won't, because I respect most of them. But this is deja vu all over again, and it doesn't surprise me. Traffic, traffic, traffic. We have it now. Could you just imagine this happening? Really? And we have nothing. Every other town has a gym, new parks. I know you're working on it. We have nothing. Nothing. We have so much development going on here. Where are all the TDO monies? Where did it all go? It's supposed to be for our infrastructure. What happened? What happened to all the monies? And I decided that I was going to stop complaining, but this really bothers me only because it affects all of us. The elderly people going for their doctor's appointments, could you imagine getting stuck and missing the appointments? You cannot have that. Could you? I mean, I just can't even imagine it. Why don't these lovely people go to North Miami? Why? There's plenty of room over there. Why us? Why? We have a bridge that's falling down. We have so much stuff going on here, and now we're going to have this? Please, guys. Thank you for listening to me. This is shocking, really.
Thank you.
I don't want no claps or anything. This is just disgusting.
Item number 1.
Discussion and possible action regarding proposed school obstructing the entrance of the police station and associated traffic plan.
All right, first of all, Mr. Manager, did this item come from the police department?
It did not come from the
Okay.
police department. And
Okay.
just for the record, Mayor, the vice mayor did give me a statement that she wanted me to read on record whenever you want me.
Okay, go ahead, say it.
I received numerous inquiries from residents regarding the proposed K-8 school adjacent to the police department, which is expected to enroll approximately 80 students. The primary concern raised is the potential impact on emergency response times and increased traffic congestion in the area. As I'm unable to attend this special meeting, I've asked the town manager to read this statement into the record on my behalf. I have several important questions that I would like addressed. Number 1, has the school been approved or licensed by the Department of Children and Families, DCF? Number 2, what are the designated plans for parking and traffic management? Number 3, what are the proposed points of entry and exit for the students and vehicles? Number 4, when did the planning of this school relocation or establishment in this area begin? Thank you for taking the time to address these questions and the community concerns. From the vice mayor.
Josh?
Yeah, okay, thanks, Mayor. I brought this, and I appreciate, Molly co-sponsoring, the meeting here with me. Just so everybody understands, at least from my perspective, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm assuming you're all on the same boat. None of us had any knowledge of anything going on until we got, unless anybody did, but tell me if I'm wrong. But we got a letter, or we were given a letter indicating from the law firm representing the school that this was happening. And this just came to us within the last, week and a half?
27th.
Okay, well, no, but we weren't, okay, it's June 27th, yeah, I'm sorry, this was already in July. So, yeah, so we're talking about a little over a week ago, when we were notified that this is happening.
I knew about the application a week before.
Okay, so you knew earlier. The rest of it, or at least I don't think anybody else did. So my concern right off the bat, I know, and I had, my own personal concerns, but look, there are certain things here that we don't have a choice on. The state preempts us on quite a few things. My concern, first and foremost, was just the fact the location here is directly across from our temporary police station. And as a result, this is not as if you have, significant number of lanes and everything else. This is 20 feet, 15 feet away from the entry. When police go into a station, they purposefully back into the spots because they need to be able to potentially race out if there's an emergency. They don't have to have, they need to make sure that there's not children, buses, cars, or any other obstruction whatsoever that is blocking the police station. So while the rest of us may have our own personal concerns over whether the school's appropriate or not, that's not what I'm trying to focus on. It's simply public safety. And the fact of the matter is, I asked, and this is why when you asked, did the police department put it on? No, it says it's by me and then co-sponsored by Molly, because my first conversation was over to the town manager and asked him to ask the chief as well to see whether this was going to be a problem. And the response I got back was yes, that this could cause an obstruction. And it doesn't have to be a constant obstruction. It can be something just that one time. The one time somebody calls for an emergency, the one time that somebody has to be raced out, the one time an officer has somewhere they have to be immediately, and there's something blocking that police car. We are there temporarily. None of us like the fact that our police department is where it is right now. We want them in a permanent station, and we're building that. But for right now, my concern, and I want to address tonight, is the safety of the residents and the ability of our police not to have even a second of obstruction, because I don't want to have a conversation with somebody who lost a loved one because guess what? The police couldn't get there on time, and not for the police's fault, but because there was somebody obstructing that vehicle. That's the reason it's here tonight. And I want to hear what we can do to try and make sure that the police are not obstructed.
Mayor, if I just say some facts on the record. June 30th, 2025, the Town of Bay Harbor Islands Building Department received an application for a business tax receipt from a business by the name of Student of Life and Company. Provided with the application was Miami-Dade County Department of Regulatory and Economic Resources municipal application for certificate of use and occupational license. The proposed use / type of business listed on the application was nonprofit religious Jewish day school. The location is at 1045 95th Street, Bay Harbor Islands, Florida, and the landlord is 1045 95th Street, LLC, Church by the Sea and Company. The proposed tenant, like I said, is SOLFL, and the initial lease term that was listed on the application was 1 year. The premises is listed as approximately 8,932 square feet on ground floor space, 8,932 square feet on ground floor space, and dedicated parking spaces was, an exhibit was provided as Exhibit A as parking spaces inside of the premises also.
How many?
I don't know how many, but I have a copy if you want.
All right,
If you want to take a look at it, I'll pass it to you. The application listed an estimated number of employees of 25, and the business will be open on the application, it says, from Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. A letter was also submitted, as you guys know, you guys received a copy to the town attorney in writing to apprise the town that SOLFL intended use of property with with a maximum students of 80 students. Grades level pre-K through 8, and need to open in time, quote, for the upcoming 2025 school year. The B1 district where the property is located does not generally permit private schools according to our code of ordinance, section 23-5, as indicated in the letter provided by SOLFL. However, the applicant is asserting that there is a state of Florida law statute 1002.42, subsection 9(8), that preempts our ordinance. I can tell you, as a former chief of police and current town manager, I've had opportunity to meet with the interim chief of police to discuss any concerns. Obviously, the public safety and security of our town will always remain my priority. Several questions was raised when me and him spoke. We obviously talked about the point of entry, drop-off zone, We talked about the start and drop off of the times, information that we just didn't have on the application, resources that would be dedicated to the school. Is the school looking to partner, if we do approve this, are they looking to partner with the town for active assailant collaboration drills that we currently do? Proper signage would be needed to indicate no stopping or standing on right of way. Obviously, that's something that, these are things that we discussed. And then I just want to emphasize that the police department's response time averages between 3 to 4 minutes for non-emergency situations and 1 to 3 minutes for emergency situations. Obviously, obstruction of our response will not be tolerated, obviously. Florida Statute 316.126 governs the operation of vehicles and actions of pedestrians approached by authorized emergencies. So as you may know, if you're approached by a police vehicle with a light or siren, you have to move over to the side upon immediately approached by them. And that's governed by Florida statute, and that's for pedestrians also. So those are facts that I just wanted to put on the record as we continue this conversation.
I think it would be appropriate to hear from the...
Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor. One last thing. The building official did give me, the building official, if this is approved, they will need to inspect the premises. They will look at the means of egress, fire exits, fire sprinkler, travel distance, bathroom, recreation. They're going to look at all of that.
Right.
That's something that
In the
I guess.
air.
Say that again?
Is it on a plan, or is it just they have to go over there?
No, they have to actually go over there and inspect. He would,
Yeah.
the building official.
Okay.
You have to put all of this in.
Yeah. Well, let's hear from the petitioner first.
It's hard not to have a visual. Oh, there you go.
Terry.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. Ben Fernandez, 200 South Biscayne Boulevard, to the office of Bercow, Radell, Fernandez, Larkin, Tapanes. Thank you for entertaining us this evening. We really appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak to you about this new school and hopefully dispel some of the misinformation and preconceived notions that have been discussed this evening. SOLFL is an acronym for Student of Life for Life. It is a school for children, but it is not primarily a religious school. It does have a religious origin to it, but it is a regular school. I'm joined this evening by Mr. Adam Neumann by Zoom, who is the CEO of Flow, which is here in Bay Harbor Island already. So this is their principal office of operation. And Adam's wife, Rebecca Neumann, is the founder of the SOLFL School and has already operated similar schools in New York. Is very familiar with the type of school that we're proposing for this property. I'm also joined by Viviana Castellisi, who is the head of the school here locally, and Ellen Schwartz, that works with Rebecca Neumann. And by Joaquin Vargas from Traf Tech, who is a transportation consultant and can answer any additional questions you may have about traffic. As the manager indicated, there was an application submitted for a BTR and a certificate of occupancy to allow the school with a maximum number of 80 children. Currently, the enrollment is 79, so we do have one less student than 80. We understand your concerns. We appreciate you communicating to us and giving us the opportunity to address these concerns tonight. Certainly, you know, when I first heard some of these questions, the fact that you have a police station near a school is typically a good thing these days, right? Everybody enjoys the fact that there's security nearby to protect the children. And again, this is an existing building. It's not new construction. And more importantly, our application is really an ephemeral blink of an eye in the long course of things. This is a temporary location for the school. We are currently working on an application in a different municipality in El Portal for the permanent school. However, Really, the children are in a lurch now because the school needs to open in the fall by September. And this existing Church by the Sea property lends itself to the school use, given its size, its location, its long, as we describe it, throat, a driveway throat that comes into the property and accommodates a certain amount of queuing of vehicles that we believe is appropriate given the number of children. I'd like to ask Adam to say a few words about the origin of school if he's there online. If not, I can continue with our application and now get into some of the issues about the transportation. I don't know if he's-
I'm here.
Okay, hey, Adam,
Can you hear me?
Yes.
we can.
Wait, you guys see me?
No.
No, I can't see.
They're working on that.
You'll have
Okay.
to turn on your camera, sir.
I will be happy to. 1 second.
Now we've got us twice. While he's doing that,
We're just looking, we're not used to this. Yeah, we're gonna log right back in.
Okay,
While
I can,
while he's doing that, if I may just, a second.
Sure.
Let me just so it's clear, again, the background of the school, the type of school, all that irrelevant.
Irrelevant to you.
It means
so that,
nothing to me.
understood.
My only concern, okay, and this is what I'm trying to explain, and I know, look, I agree with you, it's always good to have a police station near a school.
Sure.
The problem here is that it potentially is blocking the entrance to the police station.
Of course.
That's the concern here. So
Understood.
what I think the most efficient, use of our time tonight,
Mm-hmm.
and probably the thing that's really going to be most pertinent here is figuring out if there is a way that you guys can function or that you're planning on functioning that does not in any way interfere or obstruct our police department. That's it. That's the whole thing. So if there's something you want to address on that,
Hey, can you,
please do.
No, I want to hear everything you have to say, actually.
Okay.
can you guys hear me?
I mean, I think this goes a little bit beyond just traffic.
Right.
I just asked one question. I understand you represent the church, correct?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Who is here that represents the church?
No one.
No one is here that represents the church.
That's correct.
You need to represent the church.
The church,
Ben, can you
the church
hear
is just
me?
renting it out. They're not.
No,
the
the
church is not
church
relevant to
is
this.
the basically.
No, they're not.
No, they own the property.
Right.
Yes, but let me make, that's a great question, and maybe I can
Okay, you
help.
just answered it. They're not here.
Well, no, but let me explain to you why they're not here. So the reason that they're not here is because there's a state statute, and it's a relatively recent state statute, that was adopted in recognition of the dearth of educational opportunities that exist statewide.
Hello.
And so the
Ben, can you guys
statute,
hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Wait one moment,
okay.
because
Can
the
you guys
attorney's
see me?
talking.
yeah, Adam, we can hear you and see you. Just, Ben is speaking. Hang on for 1 minute, please.
No problem.
So Councilman D'Amico, we're here pursuant to that statute that allows any property that has been utilized in the past 5 years as a religious facility or theater or that type of assemblage building to come in and apply for a CO. Irrespective, it preempts the local zoning laws, as the manager alluded to. So I just wanted to explain to you why we're here and the ownership isn't necessarily here. Adam, I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
Before Adam
It's
speaks,
o-
let me just ask one
it's all
question,
good.
because I just wanted clarification on something. So this school has operated in different locations in New York, I think you said.
Yes, sir.
Has it operated locally, or is this would be the first time it's operating locally?
Sunny Isles. It's
Sunny Isles.
operating in Sunny Isles.
Okay, and why can it not continue to operate for another year in Sunny Isles while you're trying to establish a permanent location in El Portal?
So thank you for the question. I'll just say a few words and I'll answer your
Thank you.
question.
Thank
promptly.
you.
First of all, this is my first time participating in something like this, and I have always had tremendous respect for people who work in service of the people, but my respect has just gone up a few levels. So the first thing I want to say is thank you. I can tell this is not an easy job, and I appreciate everybody's time. I want to say thank you to the mayor, the council members, city manager, chief of police, the citizens that are in attendance, and our SOLFL staff that's there. I also wanted to apologize that I'm not there personally. It just, as one of the people said, happened so quickly that we weren't able to do it. We're not in Miami, but in the future, I do everything face-to-face. On top of it, I appreciate that this meeting was called together so quickly. I agree with the councilman saying that this is important to discuss, so I really appreciate that you guys did this very fast. Let's talk about Bay Harbor for a second. We like it. We love it here. We actually moved to Miami 3 years ago. We've been welcomed with open arms. We're building our company's HQ right in 2 blocks away from where we're talking about with this school. We've been recruiting a lot of people locally, and it's just been a pleasure to be part of this community. We're very, very excited about it. Regarding the school, a few facts. Number one, I heard multiple people talk about being tax exempt. Even though legally it could be tax exempt, we're making an official request to be charged for all the taxes because we love the city and we want to support in any way possible. So it will be our pleasure, but more than that, our obligation to pay the taxes. That's number one. Number two, it's only 79 students, 25 families, and at any given moment, the maximum, it's divided to the early kids coming in and then the later kids. We did the timing on purpose in different times than the current schools. There'll never be more than 12 cars at the same time, and the parking lot, without intruding or going anywhere outside of the parking lot, with a drop-off and a pickup, fits up to 19 cars. Our traffic consultant will share more information about that afterwards. We see no way in which any cars are going to be outside. Very important. Regarding the temporary, why can't we stay there for 1 more year? It was our intention to start in El Portal. Things got delayed. The building that we bought, which was actually an old church, ended up being in much worse condition than we thought. And for the safety of the kids, we had to change directions and redo it. But we're expecting to finish our construction by December. And even though the lease is for 1 year, we're expecting to be in this temporary location less than half a year. On top of that, when we do schools, and I heard a lot of people are saying, can the school, I heard someone say, can the school be here? Can the school be there? Miami's largest challenge, and that's all of Miami, all the cities, is a lack of schools. I think we should be very excited at any school that wants to join. It is a very hard business, even though it's a nonprofit, to support schools. We're doing it because we're passionate. My wife, Rebecca, has already had 5 schools, meaning this will be her 5th school. She has tremendous amount of experience. We have a very sophisticated group of educators and managers that are going to run everything that's happening. I heard you guys talk about parking. We are not planning to allow anybody to park in this parking. The city has public parking that you can rent for monthly parking spots. We're going to take those parking spots for all of the educators. We're going to have full-time staff receiving kids and letting go of kids with a system that allows the parents to use technology to let them know when they're coming for pickup and drop off, to allow everything to be as smoothly as possible. All the thoughts that we would never want to intercept and be in the way of anything, but we do want to be part of the city, and we feel strongly that this is going to work in a very positive way. I'm also going to let the advisor for the traffic to talk afterwards, but you're going to see that a retail, if that's what you were to put there, instead of this school with 79 kids, 25 cars, would have substantially more traffic and more people driving in and out. So I actually think it's a win all around. What happens in a year from now, that's up to you guys. And with that, I just wanted to say, Ben, please answer all the questions that they have. I just want to make it very clear to everyone. We're here to partner in every way possible. If there's anything that we should add to what we're saying that we should do that makes us better partners for the city, please let us know, because that is 100% our intention. And anything that comes up here, it will be our pleasure to support, as I said, in any way possible. Ben, back to you.
Ben, before, my question was, what happened to the current location in Sunny Isles? Why do you have to leave Sunny Isles?
We took it only, first of all, it only was able to fit 30 kids. We had 25 kids. It was a pilot. We're now up to 79. But the second reason, it was our intention to open in El Portal. It's only because there was a problem with the building that delayed us. But now that we understand all the problems, we're doing it in a different way. And we don't expect any other changes, which is why we're only taking a 1-year lease.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So continuing with only the traffic issue.
It's the only thing for me.
Councilman Fuller, I know that that's your concern primarily. So based on our traffic consultant's review of the number of students, he's worked on very similar schools with up to 80 children. What we're proposing is to stagger the drop-off and pickup times, and I've handed out to you the proposed schedule for the morning drop-off, which would begin at 8:45 for the middle school and upper elementary school children, and then continue at 9:15, 30 minutes later, with the pre-K and lower elementary children. The afternoon pickup would be similarly staggered, so that pickup would begin at 3:45 for the pre-K and lower elementary children, and then continue 30 minutes later again at 4:15 for the middle school and upper school children.
Let me interrupt you for a moment.
Yes, sir.
Can somebody here, I'm sure, knows the hours of, the drop-off hours at Ruth K. Broad?
I do.
Okay.
I do, because that's exactly what was my next point.
Okay.
Excellent questions, Councilman Yaffe. So we looked into that, and that's something that our consultant took into consideration. The bell start for the pre-K at Broad K-8 is at 8:20 a.m. And ends at 1:50 p.m. And the
No, that's on Wednesday. That's only on Wednesday.
that's on Wednesdays, that's right. And let me see, I'm sorry, the drop-off starts at 7:45 a.m. when the school opens typically, and concludes just before the start times at 8:20 a.m. and 8:35 a.m. So our times begin after that, in order to ensure that those two uses aren't impacting the roads at the same time. And as Adam indicated, the building is in existence. As a retail use or an office use, you would have impacts throughout the day. Whereas with the school, you have the impacts at limited hours. We're also suggesting, Councilman Fuller, just if I may.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. I want to say something afterwards.
We're also suggesting limiting the ingress and egress to the property to right turns only. Right turn in and right turn out. That would ensure that no one is ever utilizing one side of the street. In the unlikely event that there would be a car that would be stacking, which, as you'll hear from our traffic consultant, that won't happen because based on our schedule, there would be a maximum of 7 or 8 cars on the site at one time dropping off children. But in the event that there were, a police car could easily get around that one car because one lane of traffic will remain unimpeded. In addition to that, we're proposing to have a traffic person available at all times on the property at the school to guide the school like a valet would, but someone with expert experience in management of the stacking and the loading and unloading of children. So I'm sorry, Councilman Fuller, I know you were going to have a question.
If I may, because we have we benefit from this in a unique scenario, the fact that our town manager is a former police chief, and it's weird to say former, but it's true at this point. So, with knowledge, not to mention our interim police chief. So I think, they're more, let's just say, they're more suitable to make the determination because, look, the standard traffic patterns and this, while very important, and how the school is affected down the block is important, the key thing is the fact that it is, literally right in front of the police station. So therefore, I'm going to make a motion, and then we can continue if you want to hear everything else or so forth. But my motion, because my thing is still just the obstruction. So I want to make a motion that, because again, I'm sorry, before I do, I just want to make sure it's clear. It's been said a few times tonight whether we're approving. We're not approving anything on that. That's not in front of us tonight, so everybody understands. It's not for us to approve a school. That's not in front of us. The statute that he's saying is the statute. That is what it is. I will say, without getting into the legalese of it, there are statutes that also might contradict it and create a problem for you if need be. I don't want to create a problem for anybody if it's possible to not have that happen. So my motion is going to be this. My motion is that we empower the town manager and the interim police chief to have a separate conversation with you guys, and that to see that they are satisfied 100% that there will be no obstruction whatsoever to the police department. I mean, no slowing them down and getting in and out, that they are completely comfortable with everything, and it does not create cost to the police department to help to necessitate that. That they have the ability to sign off on and say that it's done. And at that point, it can move forward. And if they do not give that, then we're authorizing and instructing the town attorney to take any and all action, including up to legal action as necessary to prevent the school from being built in front of the town hall. I'm sorry, in front of the town police department. So really, if
But
they
I think
can
your
work it
motion
out.
needs some type of deadline
No, it's,
for
no,
them to make, well, I mean,
that's up to them. They have to work it out with them because they want to get it done because they want the school built out. So this just simply says, guys, work it out with our police chief and the manager. And the whole purpose tonight is instructing them that if you guys can work it out, that they're comfortable, there's no obstruction of the police department, then quite honestly, it is what it is. I mean, but, let me finish the sentence. But if they are not comfortable and they think it's going to be an issue for the police department, then at that point, then no. Then we are authorizing the town attorney to take what's necessary action to prevent it.
Well,
Okay, Teri, I know that you want to speak, but before you speak, can you simplify that motion into like maybe 50 words?
Let's see if I can do this. It is kind of a strange one. I'll give you that. Okay. What I'm moving for is that we empower, or actually, let's do it this way. That we authorize the town manager and interim police chief. Let me rephrase it. We instruct the town attorney. The motion is we instruct the town attorney to take any and all necessary action, including legal action, necessary to prevent the school from opening directly across from the police department unless they is given authorization by the town manager and the interim police chief that they, one second, Joe, that they are comfortable that it will not create any obstruction or cause additional cost to the police department. That's the.
Councilman, can I take a crack at that?
Yes.
Fire away.
Okay. How about a resolution that instructs the town attorney to take any action deemed necessary by the town manager to make sure that the opening of this school does not adversely impact public safety?
No. Not close, but it's on my motion close, because the way you've read it phrased it, that the opening doesn't, because, listen, we also owe it to the.
What's a better word for that?
But my point is,
he's gotta tell me.
look, we owe it, listen, as in good faith, we owe it to the applicant also so that they know. I'm not trying, I want everybody to understand, look, we're not trying to prevent something from happening that we can't prevent from happening. What we are trying to do, and at least my thought process here, is just public safety, public safety, public safety. If the police chief and the manager are satisfied that there's not going to be an obstruction, then so be it. But if they come back and say that because it is right there and it's going to block their cars or anything else or slow down somebody's response, then you're authorized and instructed to move forward.
So let me take one more crack based on what you said. To direct the town attorney to take any action deemed necessary by the manager. I know we have an interim chief, but that's part of administration. The manager, has appointed the interim chief. He's comfortable. They're in consultation. They've worked together. So I don't think he has to be separately in there. That will happen. I mean, I've talked to the chief enough about the manager, enough about this to know that he's going to be in consultation with Chief Locke. That's just not an issue. The town attorney is directed to take any action necessary that's deemed necessary by the town manager to be sure that this school does not in any way obstruct public safety due to the traffic related to the school. And whatever he tells me, you're delegating this to him.
The proposed school.
And the proposed school.
Right, exactly. The proposed, and then.
What you would be doing is delegating to the manager, who obviously
has some background.
Enormous experience at that, and you're directing me to take any action up to, we can say up to and including litigation, that the manager deems necessary to make sure that there is no obstruction that affects public safety.
That's fine.
Okay.
I second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Wait,
No, Teri, go ahead. You had comments.
Yeah, all right. I now learned it's temporary. That's a big deal compared to us thinking that you were bringing this
Teri,
in.
use your mic a little.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's a big difference. With that said, this is being crammed down our throat in our community so quickly that you haven't been able to come prepared, because I'm looking at this plan, the life safety plan. You have not acknowledged how you're going to build this out so you can accommodate children, and 80 children from where? And it's not that they can't come, but I think that where are the children going to play? Okay, where is their outdoor? You have not thought about this, even though it's for a year, okay, which is a different mindset. I'm a little thrown off by the idea that you're saying you have a parking or traffic study and there's nothing here. And you're not giving any evidence of anything that you're saying that you're able to provide.
Well, sure we can. Our traffic consultant hasn't spoken.
But so I'm going to go back to now the religious and educational institution. The word institution is applied to education and religion, okay? So a school is an institution, okay? And you are combining religion and school and education. There's no question. It says it on all your documents.
And what is your point about that?
It's a religious and educational school. Now,
But what is your point about that?
My point,
Mm-hmm.
okay, is that you're not allowed religious, that's
The
not,
statute preempts your local laws entirely.
no, you know what? You know what?
With all due respect,
Excuse me, I know this property 30 years. I lived across the street from it, and I know exactly how that church got there. I know exactly what's happened.
Commissioner,
And
I have
I'm
to-
not going to go into it, okay? But you cannot tell us a month before you're going to open, you're going to change all our lives, because right now, 45 minutes for Surfside kids to get to our public school. And you will be blocking every way that we can get back and forth in the mornings and in the afternoons without any working out with the school hours. You can't come in and like this. You need proof, and it needs a study. It's too fast. I don't think, I mean, in terms of Mike Mesa, the building inspector, he was not, it says right here that it's including music programs and so on. It says church programs, okay? That wasn't allowed there, okay? They had administrative offices. I was in there.
Councilman,
I
I'm not
know
here to
that-
argue with you about
Councilwoman,
that. You know more than I do.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Pardon me.
Go ahead.
I have to correct what he said on the record. So please give me the opportunity on behalf of the town to correct the statement that was made, okay? The statute, here's the statute. The statute speaks to schools. The statute would preempt certain things, certain normal zoning review that the town could otherwise do of schools, okay? This is a school, and that was a question I asked. This is not, there's some loose language going around here. This is not a religious institution. Whether it is a public school, a private school, religious school, it's a school. There were some things that I heard that I wanted to be sure we corrected on the record. We have an ordinance that says you may not have a religious institution on the ground floor in that business district, okay? Period.
They're praying.
That's our ordinance.
Right.
Well, I understand, but praying is not illegal under our ordinance. We've had.
Would they accept
May I finish?
would
Please.
they accept people that are not from?
No, they will not, and in fact, that's in the letter, and I made a point of that. This cannot be operated as a religious institution under the cover of being a school. No outside people that are not the school can come there for prayers. It is not a place of prayers, it's a school. If they were seeking to have a religious institution, which is what our ordinance prohibit. Now, look, maybe our ordinance could be challenged. I've always had, honestly, questions under the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, but it's our ordinance, and if somebody's going to tell us it's wrong, it better be somebody wearing black robes. That's our ordinance, and we will defend our ordinance. So just to clarify the record.
I understand the church
one last point.
has classes.
The language in the statute.
It's not a K through 8 school.
The
So there's a big
language,
difference.
right, the language in the statute speaks to schools, and one of the places can be a quote, not religious institution, church facility. Their administrative offices are a church facility. If they had been a religious institution, if it was a place of prayer, it would have been illegal under our ordinance for them to do it, and the town would have acted. Not, you know, notwithstanding what the BTR says, a little slippery, but it is a church facility under the
Okay, so
state
if
law.
it's a
But they
school-
cannot, it's a religious school.
It's a school.
But they cannot, it's a
No,
school.
it's a school.
It's a school.
It's 8, it's
And
K to 8.
the state statute
Excuse
does
me.
not prohibit.
Have you proven that you have provided all the bathrooms and the means of egress in all the rooms? I am not seeing documentation that is proving anything to this community that you know that you can get this done. And is anyone from our town here that has been able to look at this, study it, and because, what, you want to start working on it right now?
Well, no, I just wanted to say, Councilman D'Amico, we will be limited by any regulation that requires us to reduce the number of children. We have to comply with the space requirements, of course, that your building department will
Okay, so we
impose.
come back and we say you're only allowed 40 students because your facility does not provide outdoor, there's things that
The
are
outdoor-
missing in here.
yes,
If I may, just one thing, the problem is just so you're aware, that's not what's in front of us tonight.
That's
So
right.
I just want
This
to,
is-
make sure you understand, listen, you know, you're making your arguments, and I'm not contesting them at all. What I'm just simply trying to explain to you is that
Because you brought it up for about traffic
because,
only.
well, no, I didn't just bring up traffic, but it was brought up here for, we don't have, it's not in front of us. We don't have the authority right now. We're not being asked to approve or not approve a school. That's not what's in front of us this evening. What you're talking about is that.
But we're giving our town
We're giving him.
manager the ability to approve or not approve.
He can, based on-
Within
Just
a
remember
month.
this, they are bound by their application. And the things that are in their application, when they're applying for a BTR, they're bound by them. For example, the motion has to do with public safety
Right.
and traffic. But they have affirmatively proffered that they're not going to take advantage of the religious exemption, which I believe the prior owner did, to not pay property taxes. They've proffered and said that they will pay not only the BTR, but that they will pay property taxes. Schools, private schools pay property taxes. They're not exempt the way religious institutions. So we will now be getting property taxes on this. They're bound by everything in their BTR application, and that includes life, health, safety issues as governed by Florida statutes and by the building code. They are not being exempted from any of that. The statute said, and if it was a religious institution, it would not, and that's what I wanted to correct. It would
So we're
not
not here for
preempt our
use.
ordinance.
Right, we're
We're
not
not
here for
here
you.
for use,
Only
we're
a
strictly
school.
here because of traffic, because they
Public-
brought it up
public
because
safety.
we're
Public safety.
public safety due to the traffic.
Correct. So let
Okay.
me just say this, because I think what Josh is correct, and as others have said, we don't have the authority to approve or disapprove a BTR because it is
Preempt.
well, it's preempted and also otherwise within our code. So we only approve uses that are outside of our code if we want to change the code. The other thing is, I mean, it would seem to me that the property owner will be paying the property taxes. I don't know what the relationship or agreement will be between the school and the property owner, but we know that property owners pay the real estate taxes. The other thing I just wanted to say, Ben,
Yes, sir.
this was just on my mind because I had hearings on Friday and a bunch of other things going on, and getting out of there for the weekend or whatever it was, and your letter came in on Friday late afternoon, and I would just ask if in the future, it was addressed to the town attorney. I'm not sure why it was addressed to the town attorney, with a copy to the council. I happened to be speaking to the town manager when I saw the email come in, and I alerted him to the fact that this came in because you didn't copy or address it to our manager, which would have been appropriate under the circumstances.
Yeah, I apologize for
And
that.
if I had not seen it,
Well, I thought it was a legal issue. Councilman, really, I think this is a legal issue primarily. And that's why when, I know your town attorney, your city attorney, and we have a relationship, so I figured it would be
I'm
best.
not objecting to you
No,
bringing it to the attention of
absolutely.
the town attorney. I'm just saying.
Your town
you
manager could have
heard-
also reached out to me. I know it was a short weekend, but I've never met him and I haven't spoken
I
to him.
disagree
But
with you 100%.
notwithstand-
Excuse me, I disagree with you 100%. He is the manager. He operates this town,
Well, but
okay? And
we-
if you're doing something in this town, okay? I mean, I didn't expect you to contest that. If you're doing something in this town and asking for something to be done in this town, you should address your communication to the town manager with a copy to the town attorney, since it's a legal issue, and because you also copied the members of the town council.
I did.
That's all.
And I
That's all. I didn't want to
apologize.
argue with you
And
about
I
it. I'm
began
just-
by apologizing
Right.
for that, but I tell you that we reached out to the mayor, right? So I think that's what I usually do, first and foremost. I reached out to the mayor.
But he
I
doesn't have
called
any-
you today as well.
You did, and I appreciate that. I'm
And
saying.
I've called all of
Good.
you.
The mayor
Then we're all
doesn't
good.
have the authority
Okay.
to do anything,
but
okay?
for the
It is
record-
the manager. We are a council manager
And he
form
can't
of
contact
government.
For the record,
Right.
all communications need to go to the town manager. I have no
Happy to
objection.
co- happy
I have
to
no
meet with the town
objection
manager.
if you write to me on legal issues, but at a minimum, as the councilman says.
Of course.
On everything, the manager must be copied. And secondly, I just want to, I have to say this again, I want it on the record. Notwithstanding the resolution that we are considering, that is what frankly very deeply concerns some council members, and appropriately so. We want to be clear that although it is a fact that we could not say you cannot have a school, I want it clear that things that are proffered in the letter, in connection with your BTR application, we intend to hold you to. They are, in our view, binding, and I want you to confirm that you are bound by those things, not just the reference to the taxes, but all of the representations that are in there, including the fact that this is not going to be open to members of the public for religious services, that it's not going to be conducted as a religious institution. All of the things that are in that letter and any subsequent modifications or additions to it, I'd like you to state on the record that the applicant is agreeing voluntarily to be bound by all of those agreements. And in fact, I understood there was even some conversation that we had at some point about the applicant as a good corporate citizen making some sort of a contribution to an appropriate related town endeavor. So whatever it is that you're undertaking, separate and above from the concern about public safety that's here, that's being voted on, I'd like you to confirm on the record that the applicant agrees to be bound by all of those representations and proffers.
Thank you, Mr. Geller. Absolutely, that is the
Great.
case. I'm stating that on the record. And we want to be a good neighbor. We're here for a short period of time. This building works for us. We want to make sure that it works together with your police department. We're willing to consider any conditions that you proffer tonight or that your manager and your police chief suggest to us. We would like to discuss it with them tonight because we are on a very short leash. We need to have, a decision before September. So we're here this evening.
Another day.
Well, we're here with our traffic consultant, and, I understood that I'm sure your police chief is going to want some input from all of you as well throughout this process.
Right.
I have a question. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Molly. if you want.
Yes.
So I wanted to say, just because I had co-sponsored this, but obviously public safety being a huge concern, and I appreciate that that's being addressed. As well, I just wanted to mention, and I have been an educator for 25 years. I am a parent with
Saw
a
that.
child at the school. So from the user experience of going over here just 1 mile from my house every day, it takes 20 to 30 minutes to go drop off my child and come back home. So for everybody's benefit, because we do also have a lot of construction happening right now in our town, if we can also just, I appreciate that you offered to change or look at the times. I just wanted to have a plan in place. My concern after public safety was making sure, and I'm happy to sit down and also be part of this conversation if you're interested, but that the times are best. And I think our interim chief and our town manager would know as well, as far as, I was even thinking maybe it's a little bit later, maybe it's 9 and 9:30, maybe not, but just based on the time, because there are times where I've left the school and gone out and gone over on 95th Street, and without anything over there besides our town hall, it still takes a long time to get just down this street. The traffic backs all the way up, and then to get over the bridge to go into Surfside. So that was really, I just wanted the opportunity for us to all be able to have this conversation tonight, because I know you are trying to open soon and make sure that we were all on the same page and we had this conversation. I wanted to clarify
That's an excellent
why
point, and I value your opinion, Councilman Diallo. I saw your record, you're an award-winning educator as well. But if I can distribute this just before we end, because I think it may be helpful.
Did anybody want to hear from the traffic
Yeah.
consultant?
And just
Does he have proof, or is he just going to talk?
It's going to be over to the
Police
chief.
are gonna talk.
just to add to the record,
Sit with them when they do it with the chief.
in addition to what Councilmember Diallo just said, from a public safety standpoint, we are looking at also other stuff, such as, our deployment, when we come in, when our officers come in, when they leave. I'm obviously not gonna say that on the record because I think that's a public safety issue. But there's a lot of other stuff in addition to that we're looking at. So, I can promise you that we're not gonna be making a decision tonight because there's a lot of other stuff that we need to look at.
Ben,
I have a question.
I was just going to say,
Ben, how many cars are we talking about here?
why don't, Joaquin, can you speak to that?
25 for staff.
25.
Can I have one of those?
staff.
We have 24 parking spaces
Right.
on the property.
So you have 25 families, sometimes maybe 2 families can carpool or whatever.
More,
Yeah,
no, the
absolutely.
25 families, and they're divided to age groups, and at any given moment, no more than 15 will come in. You have 24 spots, but even if you just line it up, you have 15 spots that can
But you
cover
have
it.
25 staff.
That's how pullouts work.
Your
Staff is gonna park
and,
there.
yes.
Staff is not gonna park there, they're gonna park in your public
I know, it
parking
doesn't
lot,
work that way.
which will give us an additional cost because
We
we're
have
gonna
an
pay.
art show that blocks the whole 90.
I have a question.
Please.
What are the requirements for outdoor activities for K through 8? I cannot imagine that you are going to keep children in a building for how many hours? All right? And all of a sudden, we're going to have this, you're going to come back and you're going to say, oh, we're going to have an outdoor area in the back of here. Okay, because you're up against an alley.
Right.
We do,
Right.
we
And I know that sounds.
What are the requirements?
Sure.
And
So
I'll answer for a second.
Okay.
I'll answer for a
All
second.
right,
But first, I want to say to everyone, again, because this is my first time experiencing this, we're all on the same team.
Oh.
We're not opening a school because it's our pleasure to open a school. We're not opening a school because we're going to make money from opening a school. We're
But
opening
you
a
want it
school
to be
'cause
successful.
There's a shortage. We don't do things that are not successful. There's a shortage of
We're
education
jumping into this.
all over the city. There's a real shortage. And the only reason we got where we got to is because we love being in this neighborhood. We love being in your city. Our offices, just so that's on the record, also Flow, our company, has hired more employees than any other company in Bay Harbor Island.
There must be so many other locations that are more appropriate.
Okay.
Just so we're clear, we've looked at every location in the city.
In the
because this
city
is
of
for-
Miami?
All of it. All of it. And we
Dade
found our
County?
location-
Really?
And we found our location in El Portal and we committed to it. And we left our other school and we found ourselves where we are today. But my point is a little different. We're doing this to help a lot of children that otherwise wouldn't have a school. We will partner perfectly.
I
And
asked
for
a
the
question,
children
though.
that
I thought you were going to
for the-
answer the question.
I can answer it.
The technical questions will be answered by Ben, but just so we're clear, we're going to make a world-class school. So whatever the requirements
year?
are, we'll find the solution that is going to be acceptable by everyone. And the gentleman that spoke before, who said a few times he wanted to make sure that other people that are not in the school are not going to come and pray. Of course, that's the case. And it says so in our application. And we're going to stick to everything we're saying. No one is trying to sneak anything by. The only reason it's last second is because time is ticking and life is like that sometimes. And we found ourselves in a challenge.
Okay, can I hear about the outdoor?
Absolutely. Councilwoman.
Thank you.
Sure. So the statute that we're applying for the BTR under, it allows a school to occupy a theater, a church, a Chabad. It does not require open space. Now, I know that that sounds a little outlandish, and it's not our intent to keep the children confined all this time. I think the intent is to take them to local parks, and I think that Adam is willing,
do it.
Adam is willing to help with
We're gonna
respect.
use our parks.
No, wait,
Where else are you gonna go?
but it doesn't have to be your park, but we would be happy to help you with your parks
You
as
can
well.
put-
We're
you
there
can
for a
put them-
year. Imagine the improvements that you could command for a park space. I hear your
I'm
constituents
working with the
complaining
parks right now.
about parks.
We do not have
Take
the
it-
ability, I mean, for kids, I don't know what you would be doing. I just.
Well, that's
find-
up to you to come up with what would you be doing, but you have a person that is willing to
I
help
asked you what
your
the
city.
law was, so let's just stick with the law.
Well, I'm answering the
law
question.
on outdoor, you're saying that a school could go into a theater
Yes,
and I could set up a school in a theater because it's an assembly?
yes,
Because I want to talk building code
that's exactly right.
terms.
That is
Okay.
the
We're not,
answer.
we're not code compliance people. We have a code compliance
am.
department.
Well, then they should be talking.
Um,
But no, if he can't answer me, then someone should be answering.
I did answer
Let
you.
me interrupt for 1 second. Terry, here's what I'm trying to say. I understand what you're saying, but since it's not what's on the agenda tonight, again, what I'm trying to say is this. Let's say he says I'm sorry about this, but let's say he says everything wrong, and you're absolutely aghast with it. We still can't make a motion to do anything about it.
I get
So my
that.
point is,
But
at
if
this
it's
point,
not
that's
talked
something to bring up
about,
with the
we are
manager.
doing our town a horrible disservice because we, even though you were allowed to build a church, we never got the ability to see it or understand what you were doing in that building. And we gave you so much.
Sorry, Councilwoman, that's not my client. I didn't build a church. I didn't do that.
But if
I'm
they're
Jewish.
related to this
I'm
property.
Jewish, not related to this church in any way. We're just leasing space from them. This has nothing to do with the church.
Yeah, I think I heard about
They
signage.
own the
complaints as well.
property. Who's going to inspect and make sure, the church should have some kind of hold on their tenants, but I think the fact that you're only coming in for a year, you're not really going to do all that work inside that building.
how can you say
gonna-
that?
Of course
Because you can't,
You know, I don't
excuse
understand
me,
what
you
type of-
cannot,
Guys, hold on.
Construction-
Terry, if they don't, listen to me, here's the thing.
Construction takes time.
Hold on. Let me just, because I want to cut this off if I can. Listen, Terry.
I'm ready to cut
Terry,
off,
Terry, just so you understand, no matter what the statute says, okay? And I understand the statute, I have other statutes that can contest it regardless. They still have to comply with all the regular life safety issues that build out all the regular code. So if they don't get it done on time.
Correct for the
And they
record.
don't spend the money, they don't get to move forward regardless. So
Exactly.
all of your issues solved if
Right.
if
so
they don't
what's
do
the
it.
date that that you're ready to move in with the school?
At,
September
August,
2nd.
September,
September 7th,
2nd.
2nd.
Yeah, so if they don't get it done, they don't get it done. It's-
Right, that's not
That's it.
what
It's on
we're
us.
here
That's
for.
them- That's on them. Don't worry about it.
I don't know. Honestly, I think, I'm going to be really honest with you. I would look for another location. Only because I don't know if you're going to succeed here as a school with the school down the street because the problems that are going to happen with traffic and how it's going to affect our town is really going to upset people. And for $40,000, I think you could find something a little bit more appropriate for the children. I'm just saying, for you to be successful, I know you want to be successful. We're a very desirable neighborhood, but we are an island and we only have so much space. So if these kids want to play, there's no room for them to play. Or they're going to be in a parking lot.
All right, just
I'm
in
done.
reference to the motion that was made and seconded, Mr. Manager and Mr. Chief, are you guys ready to take on the command here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I
wonderful.
can tell you this traffic flow right here that they provided, though, there's some concern.
Right, you can,
We
you
gotta talk
guys,
about
are
it.
working-
that's what we're delegating the.
No.
It's a suggestion to discuss.
Right, okay.
So you're gonna take all their time for this whole week to go over that, so you can get.
I think they're gonna do that
approval?
tonight, actually.
We're definitely not doing it tonight.
No, I'm just saying, I don't want them to take our town manager
no.
every minute of the day.
Get that opportunity.
I got to speak up for our interim chief, who I just spoke with. Their conversation tonight is great. Talking to the traffic engineer, the traffic expert is fine, and he plans to do that. But please, give the deputy chief a chance to sit in his office, look at the things, think about it, think about what other questions, talk to the manager who he's worked with for so many years, and then reach out after what they have tonight and do this conversation without this noise in his head.
But they'll
Give
be
him a
open by
chance
then.
to sit. No, I mean, it could be tomorrow, it could be Thursday, but don't try to force him to do that while everybody is jibber-jabbering here tonight. Give them a chance to look it over, hear what they have to say, go back to the office, talk to the manager, and make sure that he thinks it through and gets all his questions answered, because it's like you're not being fair
I just
to
don't
him.
want, I just don't
Okay,
want the rest of the
Joe,
town to
can you just
suffer.
restate the motion, just,
Yes.
because it's been a
The
while?
motion is to direct the city attorney to take any action deemed necessary by the manager in view of the fact that this school will be opening, assuming that happens, the proposed school, to protect the ability of the police department to provide and protect public safety in the
Without obstruction.
Nah, okay,
Right.
all right, and it was
Seconded by
Seconded
Bob.
by-
seconded by Bob. Can you take a poll vote, Yanai?
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, point of clarification, if I may. Is there a time, I know that, and I appreciate the fact that everybody's going to help us and meet with us immediately, but is there any kind of time frame for coming up with a decision, either yes or no?
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, that's up.
Yeah, that's all I want. I mean, obviously, when I showed
well,
you,
that's up to you guys, you know, you know, we're putting our manager and our police chief at your disposal.
thank you, thank you.
Alrighty, so poll vote, Councilmember Yaffe,
4.
Councilmember Fuller,
4.
Councilmember Rappaport is not here, Councilmember D'Amico,
Only because I trust you, 4.
Councilmember Diallo,
4.
Mayor Salver.
4.
Alrighty, motion carries.
Okay,
you all.
good luck, gentlemen.
Are we going to hear
you,
though
everyone,
from the
for
traffic
taking the
engineer
time.
tonight, though?
Thank you so much.
They're going to have a
They'll
conversation.
have it themselves.
Okay, and next, item number 2.
Discussion and possible action authorizing the town manager to engage special counsel for the procurement and development of the town municipal complex not to exceed $75,000.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll move it.
Do I hear a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Make it quick.
Yeah, just real quick, the whole purpose obviously here is, we've got a large project, we needed some. extra counsel,
Absolutely.
A couple different things,
I'm
okay?
well familiar. Any questions on the council?
I had a long talk with Joe about it. So I feel comfortable that I feel that
No problem.
that
Just
position
reach
will
out so we can schedule a
really
meeting.
guide us.
Yeah.
Because we need that professional that's going to put us through. I have a question that I think is on the third, on the next item.
Okay,
Because,
I can answer that if need be, but let's finish 2 then.
okay, so this is for the attorney.
That's
Right,
just
that's
for
the
the special,
attorney.
Yeah,
Yeah.
special counsel.
So basically, he has 75 for the
The
year.
manager, no, the manager can engage, if he needs more, he can always come back or whatever, but he can go ahead and he'll find counsel that he's comfortable with for the special counsel that we need for the bids and everything.
And for the record, let me just say that although we're certainly prepared to proceed, we certainly also welcome the help. There's a lot going on here, and my only comment, it's not a concern even, my only comment, and the manager and I will be talking about it, and there's some, good people. We just need to be sure we get somebody who really knows what he's doing. There's a lot of posers out there who say, oh, P3, yeah, we do that, who don't. Let's just be sure we get somebody
Right.
who's
And you'll have some-
actually done
you'll
it,
have some
who's
say.
good. We'll be happy to work with whoever it is. They'll be the lead on it. We'll still be there to keep an eye on things. And we certainly welcome the help. This is very central to what's going to happen in this town, and it deserves the extra attention. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Alrighty, so poll vote, Councilmember Rappaport, Councilmember D'Amico,
4.
Councilmember Yaffe,
4.
Councilmember Diallo,
4.
Councilmember Fuller,
4.
Vice Mayor Bruder, Mayor Salver.
4.
Motion carries.
Okay, item number 3.
Discussion and possible action authorizing the town manager to issue the appropriate solicitations for the design and development of the town municipal complex.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. I guess before we publish anything, distribute it to the council so that we can see the language of it, just to,
And let me add, if I might.
Oh, that would be
i-
good.
You need to do it, and you need to do it as quickly as possible, but in view of what you just adopted, let's get the special counsel in as soon as possible.
right.
And let's be sure that all these solicitations are run past the special
Yeah,
counsel, because as
exactly.
we've discussed,
That's
the
the point.
idea of
That's-
having a design professional and what's going to be in the
beginning.
design
But at least-
criteria package,
That's-
as
that's
I
the-
discussed
and
with
that's-
Councilwoman
that's the
D'Amico,
reason
you
why
have
what's
to
going
have
on.
all of that,
Even if we don't
and you
answer-
have to have that line up.
you know
So
what's happening.
do too quickly, and then under that consultation, and again, we'll keep a finger in and on as well. You do 3 as quickly as you can do it, but do it right. as
Mayor,
you and I
I
discussed,
just-
Terry.
Yes, sir.
I know it's, you're saying you want to see the RFQ or RFP before, the solicitation before.
Yeah, not from the attorney, not the attorneys, but just the main one for the design build stuff.
Okay.
And just to clarify,
I
excuse
think
me.
maybe
Oh,
give
but-
us 24
that's
hours
later-
to
that's
look
later-
at
that's
it. We
later on.
can't linger over
That's
it.
later on.
Definitely
Yeah, but
Yeah,
since-
that comes before you guys.
You need the,
Yeah.
well, but you need the design, you need the
Criteria.
design professional in place to issue the RFPs for the people who are going to be doing it. So
That's what we'll
the
do
design
RFQ.
professional selection, the architect, if you want to call it that, will come to you, but you're not saying that, you say you want to see it, but you're not saying the council as a body has to.
No, it's just a courtesy copy.
No, I'm not saying that. Just, we want to know that we want to look at the language of it and just, see it. Any comments, but no, it's not, you don't need approval from us.
The
This is-
architect, the selection comes to you.
That comes to us, but the
Right.
attorneys
Yeah.
will decide the other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So
We're good.
All right,
I just have one question, and I'm sure that
We haven't
that
voted
it'll
on it
be
yet.
answered down the road, that we're looking for a company that's going to build the entire complex, correct?
yeah, that's
Right,
it.
we're,
Yes.
Terry,
That's later-
Exactly, I
that's
know.
later on.
I
That's-
Yeah, this is right.
I
This is-
just wanted to just make sure.
Right.
Okay.
yeah,
I'm
okay,
good.
all
Just
right.
because of the
You don't have to,
cost.
you don't need a poll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes unanimously. Adjournment?
Move to adjourn.
Okay, we're adjourned.
So,